What's going on, everybody? Welcome. It's lunchtime on a Wednesday afternoon with the Clydesdale. Yeah, first day back to work in a week. First day back after my procedure and my wife's procedure. Yeah, man, am I tired. I will admit it freely. This weekend has taken a ton out of me. So I talked to you guys Friday afternoon. I had my heart shocked back into rhythm. By Sunday, I felt so good. Just can tell like the blood flow is back to full strength. All my joints felt better. Um, everything's been going, everything's been going well. So, oh, hey, Corey, what's up? Lex, Jody, Judy, Holly, got the regular crew in with us today. So awesome seeing you guys today. So Monday morning, after I felt good Sunday, got up 5 o'clock in the morning, and got my wife ready. We went to the hospital, got her checked in. And then it was kind of wait. I got to go back before they prepped her for surgery. She went in. It was about a 2-hour long procedure. And then in recovery, it was going to take a couple hours for her before I could see her in her room. So on the way to the procedure, we got snow overnight here, about 4 inches of snow. We were the first people on our neighborhood road to even try to get out. About a third of the way to the hospital, my driver's side windshield wiper flew off. And so at that point, I was having to try to make a decision. Do I keep going? So I just prayed nobody would splash anything on my window, because it's not a long drive toward that hospital. It's probably only on good roads 15 minutes for us. But we got there, got her checked in, got everything. So when she was in recovery, there's the place we do go get our oil changes right beside the hospital. So we are due for one of those. Got an oil change, got new windshield wipers put on. They inflated my tires because it was super cold and my tires were really low. Got all that done. Came home, let Walter out, went back to the hospital, sat down for about 5 minutes, and then she was in her room and we went up, and I got to see her and then spend the rest of the day with her in her room. And everything went well, exactly as planned. Now it's just the recovery process. Got her home yesterday about 1 o'clock. She has to be on this machine 3 times a day where it bends her knee from 0 degrees, and she's up to 55 degrees right now. Hopefully we'll be at 60 by the end of the day. She tries to get the goal is to get 5 degrees more each day with the bend. But she's from 0 to 55 right now, and hopefully get to 60 by tonight. But actually, she said that is one of the parts of the day that feels the best. Getting the leg moving and allowing that machine to contract, straighten her leg, bend it back up. She said that actually feels the best. We're weaning down off the pain meds, but she has a bed in the living room right now. So she doesn't have to climb any stairs for anything. We have been up to the bathroom a ton since she's been home. So really my job is lifting her up out of the bed onto her walker. Once she gets to the walker, she's rolling pretty good. In the bathroom, I do have to help her up off of the commode. And then once she's on the walker, she's good there. And then lifting the machine up onto the bed, getting her leg into the machine all those times, and then lifting the machine off the bed. So first couple attempts, my back was feeling it for sure. I'm getting more set up into my deadlift position with the machine. When it comes to her, she's getting stronger every day. I really think like the leg is actually stronger than it was before the surgery. And it's just her confidence in it right now, getting her to be confident and standing up on that and feeling like it's going to hold her. And even the PT people are like, yeah, that it's not going to give out on you like your old knee was. This is going to do well. So, but she's getting around. Once she gets on the walker, like she's moving through the house pretty good. Um, but getting a lot of sleep. She did not sleep in the hospital hardly at all. So since we've been home, that has been the key thing. But everything's going great. We're doing great. And we're on the road to recovery. And hopefully in 3 months, we'll get the other one done. And then this knee will be in such good shape that the recovery process will actually be easier the second time around. So I want to thank everybody for their thoughts and prayers. I got a lot of those. And so I really appreciated those. And they really did help as we have been moving through this process. And Corey, you are dead on. Movement, as it turns out, is medicine. Yeah. And the doctor said, like, he doesn't even care how much she's up and moving around the house. It's how much she bends that knee and really working that machine. And she's supposed to do 3 1-hour sessions a day. She's actually, when she's on it, she probably does 90 minutes just because it feels good. So we're even overachieving on that at this point already. Now we just got to get the angles to where they need to be. So, again, thank you everybody for your thoughts and prayers. It has been a really good process. She's doing great. And yeah, I don't see her being down very long. She's up moving around pretty good already. So pretty excited about that. And I got to actually take her to the rehab facility tomorrow. So we got to get her up out of the house into the car. So we'll have prayers for that. Hopefully that goes well tomorrow. Because they helped me at the hospital get her into the car. Getting out was much easier. So, but hopefully we've made enough progress where tomorrow it won't be so bad. So yeah. So while I was in the hospital with her and recovering, the news came out that the Masters and Teens CrossFit Games are coming to Columbus, Ohio. And I could not be more pumped about that. I love my town. I love my city, and I think it is a great place to hold events. And there's so much to do here. It's going to be awesome for everybody to come here and to celebrate these masters and teen athletes. My guess at the moment is it's probably going to be at the Columbus Convention Center. If it's anything like Birmingham was last year, that seems to be the place that would fit that layout the best. But there's also a really cool, we built a new soccer stadium maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and the old one still sits vacant. Well, not vacant. They still use it for concerts, things like that. It'd be an awesome place for some outdoor events. I would love if they could use both of those. But my guess is it's going to be at the convention center, and Andrew does echo that, and he is connected with that group. So yeah, Columbus Convention Center. That is where the main part of the Arnold is held. And it is massive. They won't even need the whole thing for this. So so it's going to be awesome. If it's at the convention center, you're in the short north of Columbus. There's so many restaurants, so many good restaurants, so many like little quaint shops. And then you're not even that far from Ohio State campus. So I think that's going to be incredible. And I think everybody's going to enjoy it here. And probably the best piece of all is we do have an international airport. So flights should not be too out of control to get into Columbus. And I think that's most important for people traveling in. Uh, the other thing is we have a ton of hotels down there around that area. We have a major convention center, Hyatt. We have a Hilton across the street, plus probably 20 more hotels right around the building. So plenty of places to stay, easy get in, get out. And yeah. So, Shay, we are talking about the Masters CrossFit Games coming to Columbus, Ohio, along with the Teen CrossFit Games, and how excited I am for that because that is where I live. And so it's going to make it so much easier to do content and stuff for me here. And I love this city, and I think it's a great place to host these events. Kenneth DeLab says, like and subscribe, people. Support the show for free. Yeah, it doesn't cost anything to hit that like and subscribe. Holly asks, how many couches do I have and when do reservations open? We'll probably do a lottery. But anyway, or we could put some cots down here in the podcast center if you don't mind being a little bit cold. But it's going to be August, so it won't be that cold down here, but it'll be cool. Holly, I've only been to the library there once, but the conference was nice. Yeah, the main library is beautiful too. They've just renovated the whole thing. It's a classic building with colonnades out front. And yeah, super cool. And the convention center is probably 10-minute walk away from that library. So yeah. Scott can sleep in his own bed while covering the comp. Damn straight. All these places I've traveled to, the hotel podcasts have been just, we've made it work, but that I don't even have to move my equipment to do a live podcast from Columbus during the competition is going to be awesome. So yeah, we could even, by then I'll have to have it set up where we have a couple microphones and just chilling out down here in the basement to do those. So that would be awesome. It is, Shay, it is totally the dream. The fact that I do not have to take equipment and I can, it's going to open up so many possibilities for content because I love the Masters division. Doing the Masters documentary last year was so much fun, but I had to travel in, I had to travel out, I had to lug equipment everywhere. Here, it's going to be, I'm still going to have to take equipment to the venue and to shoot things around, but I'll be here like the whole week. And after that, where I can actually include more pre stuff, more post stuff, and not have to be hurried back to a hotel or things like that. I can pack things to eat. I can do things like that to keep me sustained throughout the day. It's just going to make producing content that week and that weekend so much easier and allow me to do so much more. And the fact that I'm saving money on hotel and flight and all of that stuff, I can invest maybe a little bit into some equipment upgrades and additions so that we can get more footage, more angles, more stuff. It's going to be epic. I cannot wait for that to happen. Jody Lynn says, have you been to B&H Podcaster Stream Store? I have not been to B&H. I am a ZZ Sounds guy. That's where almost all my equipment comes from. That's just what I found easily at the beginning, and a lot of their shipping is like a day. So that's what I've been using ever since I started. But the one person who shot for me last year at the games, some of the floor footage, Caitlin Walter, she lives here in Columbus too, so it's going to be easy for her. Yeah, we're gonna kill it this year, and I know more people that do things here than when I have to travel, so I can use more people. And I have some. My daughter is a photographer, and I'm hoping I can use her to just. I have some ideas with some still photography to kind of insert into the content, and I want to see if I can get her to do that for me with that. So Um, so yeah, I have a lot of ideas, but super, super stoked about this. Um, again, I think we've said it on the roundtable a million times because Charlie, Amy, and I all live here, along with Judy. Um, and Columbus is a great spot to host the CrossFit Games. It's a great spot to host a WFP tour event. There are so many venues here, and so many different sizes of venues that I hope when the masters and teens are here, we can highlight what all is around and maybe show it as a viable option in the future. Um, but again, probably the biggest thing is we have a ton of hotels of all levels, and we have an international airport where getting tickets in and out is going to be easier and cheaper than like Madison, Wisconsin, that has a very small airport. Um, it's just going to be a lot easier to do that. Shay asked, do we know where the games are this year? We do not know where the games are this year. Carolyn has some predictions. I'll save those for Sunday night. Just doing some things that she's working with, and just watching social media. She has some ideas. So we'll probably talk about that a little bit on Sunday night show for sure. And I will say that Carolyn is not leaning towards Albany. I'll just say that much. So, we'll see what happens. But that Albany rumor has been out there for quite a while. But Birmingham was a thing for a while too and never happened. We'll see. We'll see what goes on with that. Dense update says Valley Forge. Oh my gosh, if that's in Valley Forge, there's nothing around Valley Forge. So swerve everyone and just have them at the ranch. I don't think that would happen either. When the 2020 games happened, there were issues just about places to stay for the smaller group of athletes and coaches, and they had to be bussed in. So I don't think the ranch could even attempt to have 60 athletes plus teams. So a lot of people are guessing. We'll talk about it Sunday night for sure. Because Carolyn's been saying some things in our little text string, but I'll let her go on about that. We got the college football playoffs. I saw Judy saying "Go Bucks" in the chat. Got Penn State and Notre Dame tomorrow night at 7:30, and then Ohio State and Texas on Friday night. The Final Four. My Penn State Nittany Lions making it this far has been an awesome season. I am a person who roots for a lot of teams that do not win, and the fact that my college football team is in the Final Four makes me very happy that I have a team to root for this year in the college football playoff, because definitely my Chicago Bears have not been in the playoffs for a while. My Pittsburgh Pirates never make it there. And then even my Pittsburgh Penguins, who were the reliable team for me, have been off for a few years. So super pumped that Penn State is in the national championship hunt, and can't wait. Yeah, Oregon still in, says Kenneth, and they got walloped. They got walloped by Ohio State. By the time they realized the game had started, Ohio State was already up by 28 points. So, yeah, Oregon is no longer in the running for sure. They're the charred duck in that commercial, Allstate commercial, I think it is. Charred duck appetizer right now. The other thing I wanted to talk about is Corey says, yeah, Ohio State beat the brakes off them Ducks. And Judy, it was a little shocking, even if I was happy. It was so shocking. I did not see that one coming at all. I knew Ohio State was good if they put it all together, and I knew they could beat Oregon. I never saw the shellacking that happened at all. Didn't see that coming at all. Um, the only thing that's been a bummer about this week and the procedures and my wife's surgery and all of that is we Sunday night we started to watch Landman, which I've talked about on this show a lot, is one of my favorite shows. And we got interrupted from people just calling with well wishes. So I only got 10 minutes in and have not been able to finish that show. And I want to find out what's happening. But we did get to see when I went back and I rated the top 5 shows of 2024. One of those shows was High Potential, and it came back last night. It's the only network show that made my top 5 list, and it's on ABC, and it stars Caitlin Olsen as a consultant for the LAPD who has one of those minds that can see when things are missing. And so they bring her in on tough cases to kind of figure out what's been missing. And it came back last night. But it came back hitting home runs. It is definitely one of the 5 best shows of the year. And she deserves awards. I know the Golden Globes didn't go at all the way I thought they would, with Billy Bob Thornton not getting anything, or the cast of Shrinking didn't get anything. But Caitlin Olsen has been killing it. If you don't know who she is, she's been in a ton of shows. She's in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. She's been in it was a comedy on Fox, but she's married to the guy who wrote It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Rob, and he owns the Wrexham soccer team with Ryan Reynolds. Rob, oh gosh, I'm having brain farts. Not enough sleep, sleeping on the couch so that I can be there by my wife. But anyway, it's a great show. If you've not seen it, it's very monkish, but better personality. Rob McElhenney. That's it. Thank you, Andrew Sten. She's married to Rob McElhenney. But it's kind of a monk, but she has a better personality than Monk did. And she has kids and she has a normal life, but she has this brain that works in a way to help the police. But she is a little bit quirky. And it's funny, it's endearing, and the mysteries are really good. Usually you don't know who done it until the end. As she's trying to figure it out, you're trying to figure it out. And it makes for a really good show if you have not seen it. So, yeah. So that was on last night. That's the one show that I've been able to catch since we've been back from my wife's surgery. Other than that, she's just watching a lot of her stuff, and I'm just letting her do that. So, but she likes this show, so we could watch it together. The other thing I'm going to talk about is the Bears coach search. My gosh, they're inviting everybody and anybody to interview with them. I have no confidence that they're going to pick a coach that can lead this team. If you're bringing in over 15 coaches to interview, then you have no clue what you're doing. And it's just disappointing. They had a press conference yesterday with the general manager, the president, and the CEO. And I have no confidence in the team at all. Oh my gosh. I may be at the all-time low as a Bears fan of where we're going. So, we have that. Corey, I'll coach the Bears for the low price of $5 million per year. Yeah. That's my guess is they're going to look for the Corey Leonards and not for the Mike Vrabels or the Ben Johnsons. They're going to look for the Corey Leonard, that diamond in the rough that only they could find, that we'll be firing in 2 or 3 years. Exactly. You can't be any worse than what they had before. But if there is worse, they're going to find it. I just know it. So today's going to be a little bit shorter show as I'm just getting back and my first day back at work today. But I did want to talk briefly and we're going to really dive into this on Sunday night. It was announced yesterday that the NorCal Classic is now an in-person semifinal. I think this illustrates some of the things I've been ranting about with the CrossFit Games season compared to the WFP season. And I know that my co-hosts have very strong feelings about this being added to the lineup at this time. And so we're going to dive into this in deep detail on Sunday night. But NorCal Classic has moved to, I believe, June, and it will be a fourth North America in-person semifinal. So we knew that it was affiliated with CrossFit. It had added that to it. There's going to be some streaming done for that. That's been announced through the Sevon podcast. I'm guessing that will be the same now. But the fact that it's an in-person semifinal, and it actually, I have not seen how many people get to go from there. Is it a one-person qualifier? Is it a two-person qualifier? We have heard 30 people total. What does that do to the total there? These are all the things we're going to talk about on Sunday night. And I know both Jamie and Carolyn have very strong feelings about what happened with this and what it does to everything else and what it does to the season. But I'm just giving you the facts. It was announced yesterday. It's an in-person semifinal. So it's another chance to go in person and check that out. So back on a little bit of football talk. The Bears are like the Saints, finding new and creative ways to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. Yes. But I think we took that to an all-new level this year with the blown Hail Mary, the timeout fiasco on Thanksgiving Day, the blocked field goal against Green Bay, the overtime debacle with Minnesota. Like, we have some really creative ways of losing games. Aaron Frazier says the Jaguars will be competing for those coaches as well. I am hearing that. And what I'm actually hearing is that it's coming down to, are the coaches more willing to work with Ryan Poles, the Bears GM, or Trent Baalke, the Jaguars GM? And that seems to be the crux of the issue. Which one is willing? Because they're both kind of lame duck GMs who didn't get an extension, we think, but the Bears don't release that information, so there's no way of knowing. And who's willing to work with those lame duck GMs, and are they willing to put their fate in the hands of these personnel guys? That's what I hear. So, and Corey Leonard will even do the Saints for cheaper. And Aaron does say the weather is better down in Florida, but I'm hearing Trent Baalke is not the favorite personnel guy for a lot of these coaches. But again, I'm getting that from a Chicago perspective. So who knows? So I think that's everything on the news front that I wanted to talk about today. Tomorrow we'll have our roundtable with the full crew in. Friday, I'll be back for a lunch with the Clydesdale on Friday, and we'll update everybody on the health situations of both me and my wife. And then Sunday night CrossFit talk, where we'll get into some deep detail on the NorCal Classic thing coming, more WFP signings, the Masters CrossFit Games here in Columbus, plus anything else that hits the scene between now and then. But yeah, so we have all that. Yeah, it is a lose-lose situation for all of that. I did put out my riff on a shortened version of my riff about the WFP and not giving it a chance. and I've gotten a lot of comments back on that, mostly positive. Uh, a few friendly debates, I'll say about it, since that went out. But as long as you're willing to talk, I'm cool with the debate. Like, bring it on. I'll debate the situation with you, as long as we keep it friendly and not hateful. I'm cool with that. But really interesting discussions about how people feel about the WFP and maybe its intrusion on the CrossFit Games, where I think it accentuates the CrossFit Games or it accentuates the sport in some way. There are people that feel it's actually detracting from that and have their thought presses behind that, and they're entitled to those. Um, and so the comments have been very interesting down that road, and maybe we'll get into a little bit of that on the Sunday night show as well, or maybe even Friday, if nothing big hits. We'll talk about some of the comments that I've gotten about the WFP and giving it a chance to see if it'll succeed or not. And then I know Training Think Tank has done a podcast about the WFP, and I've heard it's very pro, uh, WFP. I'm interested to watch that this afternoon just to see uh, what's going on with that. So, Jody Lynn says, I'm surprised Will Morad hasn't been interviewed anywhere, or have I missed it? You missed it. He was on Coffee Pods and Wads with his partner, Jackson Terry, and they were both on Talking Elite Fitness as well. And I did reach out to Will. So we've had a conversation. It's been a brief one, but it's the start of something. And hopefully, I mean, Will and I go back a lot of years. So I'm hoping I can have him on, as well as I made some proposals to him about some other things. So we'll see what happens with all of that. But I have reached out to him and have had talks and communication with him. And hopefully we'll have him on very soon as they get more details out about what's going on. So super excited about that. And Will's always been a good guy to me. If you watch the behind the scenes at the Masters, we have some very candid conversations about some things there. I had him on right before semifinals this year, where if you go back and listen to that, there are indications that this was coming before that. And some of the comments I've gotten are that the WFP is leveraging the Lazar Jukic tragedy to push themselves forward. My interview with Will was before that happened. And you can tell in that interview that something was coming from Will at that time. So there was at least some thought about it coming. I don't know how far down the road they were, or if that accelerated after what happened with Lazar. But I can tell you that I can definitely say that they were thinking in that direction prior to that event happening. And speaking of Lazar, one of the signings this week has been Luka Jukic for the WFP, as well as one of my favorite guests to have on is Paige Semenza. She was signed as well. I was really excited to hear that. We still have not seen a signing of Tia or Laura, but there is still time, and I think slots available for them. But it's interesting that they are going to be one of the last announced if they are, in fact, part of the WFP. But I think all the big hitters from the men's side have already signed, but we have not heard from Laura Horvat or Tia Toomey on a signing with the WFP. So that's going to be interesting to see whether they do or they do not. With that, my sinuses are filling up a little bit down in this cold basement because it is really cold here today. With that, I'm going to leave you for now, but we'll be back tomorrow with the full roundtable, and can't wait to talk to you then. If there's anything that you want to talk about, make sure you leave that in the comments, and we'll dive into that. I know I've had some comments about bringing back maybe some weird top 5 lists around the pop culture world. I think we'll do that, but I'd like to do that with a guest as we do that. So can't wait to kind of add that to the repertoire of this show. Kenneth says new Reacher trailer just debuted. I think it came out like a week or two ago. Because and the listeners, the listeners are the ones that told me it was out. And I went and watched it. It's really good. Or are you saying there's even a newer trailer coming out for it? But anyway, excited for the new Reacher season for sure. I knew it was with I think 20th Century Fox going under. It was debated whether it was going to make it through to come back, and it has. It was bought out, and they are going to show it. So yeah, can't wait for that. And Corey's always going to be on my list for guests. Trust me. He's one of my dudes, man. Love chatting with Corey. And Judy nominates that. So now he's nominated and he's one of my dudes. So you'll probably see Corey on here as one of the guests for a top 5 list. So we will definitely do that in the future. Just got to come up with some ideas and concepts. CK Kevin says the Reacher dude went too woke for me. Won't be watching. I don't know anything about woke. I just watch the shows, and if the story writing is good, I enjoy the show. And that's where I leave it. I don't put too much credence into anything else. That's just me. With that, I'm going to say adieu and see you guys tomorrow for the Clydesdale Media Roundtable with Kat and Amy and Charlie. And then we'll be back on Friday with Lunch with the Clydesdale. With that, guys, have a great rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your lunch. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Hit that notifier so you're the first to know when new stuff comes out. And we will see everybody next time on Lunch with the Clydesdale. Bye, guys. Peace out.